So we're ProPublica's nonprofit explorer where you can search Form 990s. I'm going to enter Mount Holyoke for Mount Holyoke College. And we're going to click on Trustees of Mount Holyoke College. And it takes you to the college's 990 forms. Now we're going to click on the 990 form for the most recent form filed. And as you can see, the 990 has a lot of information, about finances and assets and revenue, the board of directors, contracts that the university is given out, and so on. So these are things that you can look at to find lots of information that could be useful about your college. But what I'm going to go back to here is we're going to look at the 990T, because the 990Ts usually have more information on investments. So here's Mount Holyoke's most recent 990T. If we go to the end, you see it lists a bunch of the private equity funds that the college is invested in. And a lot of these are clearly oil and gas funds. NCAP Energy, NCAP Flatrock Midstream, Kayne Anderson Energy Fund, Natural Gas Partners, Yorktown Energy Partners. Now, if you go and Google the names of these firms and funds, you will find that they're invested in oil and gas and coal companies. So through doing this type of research, you can start to get a better sense of what industries and what companies your university is specifically invested in through the funds that it invests in. Now, not all universities disclose what they're invested in. So for example, let's look at the University of Pittsburgh. If you go to their most recent 990T, you'll see that they disclose that they're invested in these similar types of private equity partnerships, but they don't say the names of them. It just says generic, partnership 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But what we're going to do is try to go back a year earlier, not 2018, 2019, but 2017. And if we look at this 990T, there we go. So this year, the University of Pittsburgh actually did list the funds that it's invested in, their names. And we see a lot of these are energy funds, Natural Gas Partners, NCAP Energy, Enerverst Energy, Energy and Minerals Group, and so on, Rockland Powers, NTP Energy. So if a lot of these funds are invested in oil and gas and coal businesses. So again, you could research them and find out that information and start to map out what exactly your university or college is invested in. A lot of these also, are not oil and gas funds. Some of them are real estate funds. Some of them are funds that may be invested in other things. So through searching all of these, you can really start to get a better sense of what your university or college is invested in. Finally, sometimes the funds that universities invest in are tied to pretty sketchy people. So for example, the University of Michigan invests in a fund called Lime Rock Partners 4AF. If you research this fund, you find out that it finances a big Texas oil billionaire named Timothy Dunn, who happens to be bankrolling a group called Empowered Texans that's driving all kinds of far-right, ultra-conservative antics in Texas that most of the University of Michigan community would never want to be tied to. So University of Michigan climate organizers were effectively able to use maps like these that make these ties apparent and protest against their university's investment in a far-right oil billionaire who is bankrolling a lot of shady far-right antics. So if you dig into the funds that your university invests in and you see what and who your endowment money is actually financing, it can sometimes lend itself to helping you out in terms of your strategy and your campaign.